A kitsune reborn with a mission, reach level 20, reclaim her past, and ascend to the divine domain to be with her goddess, Tamamo. But her path is riddled with undead bears, arrogant nobles, and a vampiric ally who's hiding more than she seems. When her charm skill spirals into a curse and a jealous noble crosses her, Luna's icy wrath could shatter her future or solidify her legend. We were chatting the night away when I remembered something Tamamo told me the other day. Now that I think about it, Tamamo said that a VIP was coming to the guild soon. Do you know anything about that, Velvet? I asked. She pondered for a bit before saying, a baron has been improving his territory over the last 10 or so years and has finally reached a point that he can have a branch of the guild opened in his territory. He is coming over here to talk with the guild master about the procedures he needs to go through. When does he arrive? I asked, continuing my questioning. He and a few others arrived yesterday. Discussions like that take a while, so they'll probably be here for a few more days. Why do you ask? She asked back. I was just curious. Even if I am technically a noble's daughter, I've never interacted with any nobles, though now that I think about it, I do know a few people in higher positions. Really? Who? Let's see. There's a goddess, a former hero, and the third princess of a big country. I replied nonchalantly. Those really are people in higher positions, though you should also take into account that your family is a Marquis family, she said, adding my family's noble rank to the list of things I didn't know before. So that's my family's noble rank. Good to know, I said, nodding my head. You didn't know? She asked, massaging the bridge of her nose. I never cared enough to find out. Too much trouble, I said, shrugging my shoulders. How carefree, she said, astonished. Anyway, how are you going to go about raising the charm skill level? I'm not going to do much. It's leveled up 3 times since I left home, once on the way here, and twice after entering the city. So, it's level 4? Then it'll still take a while, she said. No, it's level 8, probably close to 9. I said, correcting her misunderstanding. I'm just glad that it seems that it's less effective on you now. Really, how can you tell? Her confusion clear on her face. The look in your eyes gives it away. The reason I figured out the skill was becoming a problem was because your eyes started to get the look of someone getting high from a drug. I explained. I'm really sorry about that. I didn't know that that skill was that potent. It's fine, since it's you. Not to mention that I would have followed you even without a skill like that affecting me, she said, shrugging off my apology. Is it because Tamamo asked you to? I asked. That's part of it, yes, but it's also interesting being around you. Even among my own kind I easily get bored, but after meeting you, even if it's only been about 2 days, I haven't been bored at all. And the other reason? I'll get to brag to everyone in the future that I got to travel around with the goddess of the moon's wife. I'll become one of the most influential vampires out there. Not that I really care about that stuff, but it has its perks, such as the way of the world, I guess. I shrugged. It's always better to have more influence. Speaking of influence, how much do you have, Tamamo? I've always wondered, but never knew how to bring up the subject. I asked. Let's see. If gods with authority over concepts like fate or time are at the top, then I'm at about 3rd from the top along with the god of the sun, she said proudly. How nice. It was then that I noticed the sun coming up. It seems we've been talking longer than I thought, I said, looking out the window. Looks like it. Do you need to go to sleep? Velvet asked, getting up to leave. Nah, I'm good. I have the sleep resistance skill at level 10. I can go about a month without sleeping, I said. Why don't we wait a little longer and we can grab breakfast and go to the guild together? When we get there, we can register as a party. Sounds good to me. How good is the food here? She asked, her stomach growling. It's great, almost as good as mine, I said confidently. You can cook? Velvet said, surprised. Of course, I can. It was a part of my training. I can also prepare and serve tea, clean a somewhat large house in under an hour, and a bunch of other things, I proclaimed, all so that, when the time comes, I can take care of Tamamo. Don't forget that I'm trying my best to improve in those areas as well. When you ascend, we can see who will be able to pamper the other better. Tamamo's competitive spirit ignited. You're on, Tamamo, I answered in kind. You two are leaving me out again, said Velvet, annoyed. Sorry, the both of us said. It was at this time we decided to head downstairs because I could smell breakfast being made. When we got to the ground floor, every table but one was empty. The only occupied table had a man resting his head on his arms, asleep. Let's sit over there, I said, pointing to the other side of the room. It reeks of alcohol over here. As we sat down, the proprietress came over and greeted us. Good morning, ladies. Find what you needed in all that stuff yesterday? She asked. We did, though it took longer than expected, I said, making up an excuse for why Velvet was still here. After this, we're headed to the guild to register as an official party and take some quests. I'm glad you made a friend then, but the two of you should be careful. I heard a group of nobles came to the guild yesterday. I don't want 2 cute girls like yourselves to catch the eye of some perverted noble, she said, giving us a heads up. Are they that bad in this country? I asked with a head tilt. For the most part, no, but there is always an exception. Then we'll be careful. Hopefully we'll get in there before the board is too crowded. Then I'll bring you both some food and get you out the door before that happens, she said, walking away. On her way to the kitchen, she woke up the drunk man and told him to either order something or leave. He got up and left the inn. Do you drink, Velvet? I asked, looking for something to talk about. It depends on what mood I'm in, but for the most part no. Do you? She asked back. I just turned 15 so I haven't, I answered. Then I'll have to take you out drinking one day. It'll be interesting to see you drunk. You won't. Being drunk is treated as a status effect and I'm immune to them, I said, dashing her expectations. There is an alcohol made by the patron god of the dwarves that gets past that. But I'll save drunk Luna for me alone, Tamamo said, adding her input and making my face turn red. What are you getting embarrassed over? Velvet asked after seeing my change in attitude. It's nothing you need to worry about. Look, here comes the food, I said, changing the subject. We quickly ate then left for the guild. When we got there, the board was pretty empty, much to our relief. We walked up to the board and took a look through the requests for our rank. I'm never going to get any more levels from such weak things like goblins or kobolds. I only went up 3 levels from everything we killed yesterday, I complained quietly. Only 3, but we killed so many things yesterday, Velvet said, shocked. That's the trade-off I have for my skills leveling up so fast. Slower leveling, I explained. I see. Since we are allowed to take a request 1 rank above ours, wanna try to go for some orcs? They're a little stronger than a kobold leader and they taste delicious, Velvet suggested. You had me at delicious, and if you let me cook them, I might be able to raise my cooking level to 9. I said, taking an orc subjugation quest from the board. I need to stop getting surprised by you, Velvet said under her breath. We walked up to the counter, accepted the quest, and left to go hunt. Author's note, today's chapter is for setting up some events for next chapter. Also, I hate early springtime. Pollen and allergies don't mix well and the medicine I take makes me sleepy. If only I could get a sleep resistance skill, I could do so much more. Thanks for reading. We went to the forest to the south of the capital instead of the east to find our prey. It was a lot darker and denser than the other one, which would make it harder for Velvet to use her sword whip. When I pointed this out to her, she told me, it's fine, that is my backup weapon. I mostly use fire and dark magic. With the forest as dark as this, my magic will be even more effective. Though I'm grateful that you're looking out for me, she added. Do you mind if I practice with my mist as we hunt? I want to try and exclude allies from its effects, since we're going to be in a party for a while, I said, asking for her permission to use her as a test subject. I don't mind as long as you don't drop the temperature too low. I don't want to end up like the goblins and kobolds from last time, she said, giving her consent. After that, I released my mist into the surroundings. I could feel the small animals like squirrels and rabbits run away when the mist covered them, their instincts telling them it wasn't safe to stick around. How are you feeling right now? I asked Velvet. A little cold and sluggish. Nothing I can't handle, she replied. Got it. Let's start looking and I'll do my best to exclude you from the effects while we go. I'm already starting to get an idea of how to do it, but it needs some practice, I said as I started to go deeper into the forest, Velvet right behind me. We were searching for about 2 hours when I noticed something enter my mist. Hold on, Velvet, something just entered the mist, I warned, turning in the direction of the intruder. Since the range of my mist was quite big, it took a while to get closer. When we did, we learned that the intruder was a single orc. Do you think it's just a scout or something? Velvet asked, whispering next to me. Probably, though now it's completely lost since I'm also showing it some illusions to keep it from leaving. I whispered back. What are you showing it? What every orc wants, a group of women all for itself. Though it makes me feel disgusted thinking of what it thinks it's doing right now. I'm going to take it out, I said as I pulled my bow out of my inventory. Archery and space magic as well. Is there anything else I don't know about? Velvet asked after seeing what I was doing. I'm also great with daggers and short swords and poison. While my class is a mage type, I also have the abilities of a scout. I'll tell you the reason for that someday, I said as I loosed the arrow I prepared. The arrow went straight through the orc's eye and embedded itself in the tree behind it. I guess I put too much power into that. Just what level is your archery skill? Actually, never mind. We'll never get anywhere if I keep getting surprised by everything you do. Can you store away the body? We can dismantle it later, Velvet said, giving up thinking about my skills. Got it. By the way, its friends are nearby, I said as I pointed in the direction of the dead orc's friends. How many? 4, just enough to finish the quest. I'll take 2, you take 2? Sounds good, let's begin. After discussing our plan, I collected the corpse and we both started moving in the direction of our prey. When we got in range, Velvet used her dark magic and impaled 2 orcs on shadow spikes while I struck my 2 down with lightning magic. You know, every fight we have is always so easy that it's kind of boring, I complained. I get the same feeling, but we are still low-ranked adventurers. It can't be helped. And look on the bright side, us finishing this quest will raise our ranks to E. Velvet said, trying to cheer me up. You're right, and as a bonus, I leveled up from that. Soon I'll be level 10. I wonder if anything'll happen when I get there, I said, thinking out loud. Since we finished our quest, we decided to dismantle the orcs right here, then head out of the forest to cook them for lunch. I took the edible parts, and the proofs of subjugation, and Velvet burned the rest. Do you want to teleport to the entrance of the forest instead of trekking all the way back on foot? I asked before we departed. Sure, it'll be much less tiring that way, Velvet replied back. Have you teleported before? A few times. Yes. Why? I'm still not used to the instant change after teleporting, so you'll need to give me a few minutes when we get there. I understand. That feeling was the worst. I put my hand on Velvet's shoulder, and the next thing we knew, we were at the spot we entered earlier. I walked over next to a tree and started vomiting up my breakfast. I wish I didn't have to go through this every time. You'll be alright, Luna. Just a few more times and you won't have to feel this way anymore, Tamamo said, comforting me. I really hope you're right. When I finally felt better, I walked back to where Velvet was. She was setting up a fire so that I could cook the orc meat. Feeling better? She asked, sympathy painted across her face. Yeah, but I don't think I'm going to teleport us to the city. I don't want my lunch coming back up, I said after washing my mouth out. That's fine. By the way, I've been meaning to ask, what are your plans moving forward? Are you going to stay in this kingdom or are you going to travel around? She asked. Well, first I need to raise my rank to D, then I need to get to level 20. After that I'm supposed to go to the Celestia Kingdom, take care of some pests, and clear a dungeon there. After that, I'm not sure. I don't know what level I should be at to take on that arrogant mongrel that wants Tamamo, I said, going over my immediate goals. Well, it's good to know you at least have a plan for the near future. Now, let me see just how good of a cook you are, Luna, the excitement in her voice growing more intense. Yeah, I said as I pulled out what I needed to start cooking. After about 30 minutes, I was done. What I made was some orc chops with salt and other spices. It was simple since we were right next to the forest and didn't want to attract any monsters with the smell. After handing Velvet her share, I sat down and started eating. I think I've outdone myself, even with the limitations due to our location, I said as I continued eating. So, this is what a high level of cooking skill can do. With just this you could be hired by royalty as a chef, Velvet said as she savored each bite. Aren't you a higher up in an organization of vampires? I thought you would be used to cooking of this level, if not higher. That doesn't matter. Good food is good food. Besides, even if I am a higher up, it's still expensive to hire someone of the same or higher skill than you just to cook. Speaking of your organization, will I need to meet anyone from there? You've told me before that besides you, one other person knows about my relationship with Tamamo. I think you're fine for now. In the future when you join the goddess, you'll need to send a message out through an oracle, but that's about it. I was about to continue on with our conversation when I heard something coming from within the forest. Velvet, get ready, something's coming, I said, standing up. Do you know what it is? She asked, becoming alert. No, but we're about to find out. As soon as I finished saying that, a large bear appeared out of the darkness of the trees. It was then that I noticed something off about it. In several places the flesh was starting to rot, and I could see its bones here and there. Why is an undead bear around here? I asked in a panic. Do you have anything that can deal with it? Velvet asked. I do, but I'll need some time. I haven't practiced much with it, I said back. Then I'll distract it. You get ready, she said as she ran towards the undead bear, unsheathing her sword whip. I closed my eyes and concentrated. I needed to accumulate power in my body and give it form. It was then that something in my mind clicked. I see, so that's how I do it. Things are about to get interesting, I said with a wide smile. Author's note, here is the last chapter of today. I can't fight off the sleep anymore, so I have to end it on this cliff. Please hang in there. I'll probably be able to write the next chapter tomorrow morning before I leave for classes, so you don't have to wait too long. Thanks for reading. P.S. There might be moderate amounts of fluff next chapter. While I was distracting the undead bear, Luna was preparing to deal with it. It was then that I heard her say, I see, so that's how I do it. Things are about to get interesting. I jumped back to give myself distance and to see what happened with Luna. When I positioned myself to see what happened as well as keep an eye on the bear, Luna was gone. In her place was a black-haired fox. Floating around the fox were a dozen dark blue flames. It was then that I heard Luna's voice in my head. Don't be so distracted. We're still in a fight, though not for much longer. After saying this, she ran towards the bear. Two of the blue flames then covered her front feet, or more accurately her claws, and she began slashing the bear. It let out a mangled roar from whatever was left of its throat and began swiping at Luna, but she was too quick. She then took some distance and shot 6 of the flames at the bear. It didn't look like it did much damage, but then I noticed that the flames weren't burning the bear but purifying it. Luna, what skill are you using? I asked as I ran up and parried a paw swipe that was aimed at where Luna was going to land after she jumped up and slashed the bear again. It's the purifying version of Foxfire. This bear being undead means that purification works wonders on it. I could also use healing magic on it to kill it, but that would require me to basically ride it, and I don't want to do that. It really stinks, and I don't want that smell on me, she said while dodging another swipe. The Foxfire continued to purify the bear when it stood up on its hind legs and started to charge forward. Velvet, think you can slash open its chest? Luna asked with some sort of plan in mind. I can. What are you going to do? I'm going to make a concentrated ball of purifying Foxfire and shoot it inside, purifying it from within as well. Got it. One flayed undead bear, coming right up, I said as I dashed into the charge of the bear. When I got close enough, I extended my sword and cut upwards. After that I dodged the swipe of its arms and went back for another cut. After repeating this a few times, there was a big enough gash for Luna to slip in her Foxfire. You're up, Luna. Finish it, I yelled as I jumped back. Perfect timing, she said as a large ball of blue fire shot past me and right into the opening I had made. When the fire hit the bear, it stopped in its tracks. I could see the fire raging through all of the holes in its rotting flesh. It's a good thing purifying flame don't physically burn something, or it would smell even worse than it already does, Luna said, pawing at her nose. As I was looking at Luna, I got the irresistible urge to pick her up. I acted on that urge, and when my hands touched her fur, it was like a whole new world of softness was opened up to me. Game title, Apostle of Fluff. I got a strange title the second I picked up Luna. Velvet, put me down. If you don't, bad things will happen. I'm only giving you a warning since I consider you a friend, Luna said, her voice becoming colder after every word. I'm sorry, I don't know what came over me. I just had this urge to pick you up and acted on it before I knew what was happening, I said as I quickly but gently put Luna back down. When I did, I felt a sense of loss. Luna, what do you do to make yourself so soft? If anyone were to pet you for extended periods of time, they could get addicted to that feeling. It's a mix of thorough care, lots of brushing from both me and, when we meet, Tamamo, and a title. That addiction is also a part of that title. That's why I hate it when people besides Tamamo touch my hair or tail. You should be happy I didn't turn you into a vampire popsicle, she said, her voice still cold. What's a popsicle? Don't worry about it. I'm going over there to turn back and redress myself. Don't come over here, she said as she walked away. Did I mess up? I asked to no one in particular. Not necessarily. She's just keeping a promise we made to each other. She'll calm down in a little bit. I'm more interested in the title you got, the goddess said, amused. You noticed the title? I asked, surprised. Of course, I did. Who do you think I am? But to think Luna already made an apostle. How very intriguing. She's not even a demigod yet. Do you know what the effect of this title is? I asked. Let's see. It grants the softness effect that Luna talked about earlier, negates the addiction from softness and fluffiness, and once she ascends, you will be appointed as her representative in the mortal world, as well as given access to come and go from the divine domain at will. This tells me a great many things about Luna's potential as well, Tamamo said, her pride in her future wife growing. What do you mean potential? I asked, interested in just how much Luna will be able to achieve. Well, as she is right now, she already has the potential for dual authority, which only a few of the stronger gods have, but now she can possibly gain a third. Like me. Wait, you have 3 authorities? I thought you only had 1, I said astonished. No, I have 3, I'm just most well known for the moon. The authorities I possess are over the moon, the night, and gravity, Tamamo said like it was common knowledge. I see. Then do you also have an apostle, goddess, and how many can you have? I asked, my curiosity growing. Gods can have the same number of apostles as they do authority. Since I have 3, I can have 3 apostles. As for your other question, I will, but who it is, it's a surprise for Luna, so don't tell her. Got it? My lips are sealed this time. Good. Also don't tell Luna about the title either. Let me teach her about these things as she grows. She can appraise you, but she won't because she respects others' private information, she said in a tone that implied no was not an option. I understand, was all I could say. Just then Luna returned. Shall we head back? She asked, her previous coldness long gone. Sure, but what about the bear? I asked, turning around only to discover a pile of ashes. Never mind. What should we do when we get back? Report our quest completion first, then we report about the bear. After that, I'm not sure, Luna said, putting her hand on her chin in a thinking pose. Alright then, we can figure out what to do after when we get there, I said as I started walking back to the city, Luna following behind me shortly after. Little did I know that, when Luna said she warned me because I was her friend, she was completely serious, as I would soon find out. Author's note, here is the chapter 1 promised last night. Please enjoy. It was so much easier to write when not fighting off sleep. I'll see you all again soon. Thanks for reading. We were heading back to the city after taking care of the undead bear. After the battle, Velvet picked me up, and ever since then, I've been a bit worried. At first, I was angry, but when I calmed down, the anger turned into worry. I was worried because of the Abyssal Fluff title's effects. Tamamo, was Velvet affected by that one title when she picked me up? I asked, my worry evident. You don't need to worry about it. The only way that title will affect someone is if they are exposed to your tail's fluffiness over long periods of time. Not to mention that if it was anyone else who touched you, they would have lost their arms almost immediately, and that is if you are generous. Well, yeah, I was just worried that the friend I made would turn into some fluff-obsessed zombie. That was why I warned her. If it was someone else, losing their arms would be a small price to pay for touching something they shouldn't. I said with a huff. You really like keeping that promise, don't you, Luna? Tamamo said, giggling. Of course, I do. Why do you think I take such good care of my tail? If it's not in top condition when I get to see you in person, then it feels like I lose at something, especially since all 9 of your tails are always pristine. I said, getting heated. Is it wrong of me to not want anyone else's filthy hands touching my tail except for my wife? If anything, they should thank me for purifying their hands with ice so cold it feels hot. Luna, snap out of it, Tamamo yelled in my head. You're starting to scare poor Velvet over there. I looked over to my right to see Velvet slowly inching away from me. What's wrong, Velvet? I asked, trying to put a gentle smile on my face. Are you okay, Luna? Your face kept getting scarier and scarier for a few seconds. If it's about me picking you up earlier, I'm really sorry. I didn't know you hated it when people touched you, she said, looking like she was about to start crying. It's fine, we can put that incident behind us as long as you know to never do it again. The only reason I got as angry as I did was because, when I was little, I promised Tamamo that she was the only person besides myself who can touch my tail, and that promise extends to my whole body when I'm transformed. I said, explaining myself. Duly noted, was all she said. As we were conversing, the city walls came into view. It was then that I thought of what I wanted to do for the rest of the day. Hey Velvet, do you still have nothing to do after we finish our report to the guild? I still haven't thought of anything to do. Why? Will you help me out with some teleportation training? I don't want to feel sick after doing that anymore, so I thought I should just teleport over and over until I get used to it. I need someone to watch over me so that no one comes and tries anything while I'm out of commission. I asked. I don't mind. It's not like I have anything to do anyway. What about your job in your organization? I know I just asked you for help, but is it really okay to go around with me all the time? It's fine. My mother took over my position, and even then, all I ever did was listen to reports from subordinates and sometimes give orders. Honestly, going around with you is so much less boring that I don't think I can ever go back to that job. Well, at least I'm fun to be around. I bet no one from back then would believe it, I said, letting out a sigh. I wonder how everyone is doing now. It might take me a while, but I can find out for you if you want. It might be a bit late, but it could give you some closure, Tamamo said in a warm voice. If you don't mind, was all I could reply. The atmosphere around us turned a bit awkward as Velvet didn't understand what I was talking about, but figured it was complicated, so she didn't pry. I tried to go back to our previous conversation in order to restore the cheery mood. Anyway, thanks for agreeing to help. It means quite a lot. Don't mention it. It'll help us both out in the long run. Anyway, I guess that's true. We finally made it to the gate and went inside after showing the guards our IDs. You want to pick up some skewers or something? That bear fight made me hungry again, I asked as we walked. I don't mind. I was starting to feel peckish myself. After buying some skewers in the square, we started to eat. It was then that I noticed a fancy carriage parked near the guild building. Oh right, there was a noble visiting the guild. We should hurry up and finish our business. I get the feeling that if we don't, we'll get dragged into something annoying, I said as I finished up my 6th skewer. Where does all of that food go? You ate a bigger portion at lunch and now you ate 6 skewers and are starting on a 7th. Also, I agree, dealing with nobles is a pain. To answer your question, I don't know. I've always been able to eat a lot, and the best part is, I don't get fat, and aren't I a noble? Technically? Don't ever tell any other woman that. Luna, you'll only make enemies by saying that, and you don't really act like one, so it can be easy to forget. We continued to converse like this as we entered the guild. We walked up to the counter where Shutan was when I saw another demon girl standing next to her. They looked the exact same, with the only exception being the colors at the tips of their horns. Welcome back, Miss Luna. Miss Velvet, how did the quest go? Shutan asked. It went well, though we need to report something we encountered on the way back. But before that, who is this? I asked, tilting my head. This is my twin sister, Ibaraki. She is starting her first day as a receptionist, so I am assisting her. It's nice to meet you. I'm Ibaraki, said the other demon girl, bowing her head. It's nice to meet you, Ibaraki. My name is Luna. This is Velvet. It'll be a pleasure working with you in the future, I said, while both Velvet and I bowed our heads in return. Do you think you can process our completed quest? Sure, just put the proof of completion or subjugation here and we can go from there, said Ibaraki, trying her best to be professional. I placed the proofs on the prepared tray and Ibaraki took it away to be checked. While she is doing that, what did you need to report? Shutan asked, moving on to our other business. When we left the forest, we stopped to make lunch. While we were eating, a bear came out of the forest. Normally I wouldn't report this, but the thing is, the bear was undead, I said, explaining the events from earlier that afternoon. That definitely is strange. I'll make a report to the guildmaster later. You'll both probably need to explain it again after that, but it can wait until the guildmaster and his guest are done with their discussions. After Shutan finished speaking, Ibaraki came back. The processing is complete. Congratulations on completing your quest. If you put your cards here, you can rank up to rank E since you have met the requirements. We put our cards on the designated place and then a light shone. When the light died down, our cards were there but in a different color. Before, it was a dark gray color, but now it was a reddish-brown color that reminded me of rusted iron. We received our upgraded cards and thanked the both of them. We turned around to leave when someone started to call out to us. Hey! We started to walk to the door, doing our best to ignore the arrogant voice. Hey, stop ignoring me. We almost made it to the door when I felt something tugging on my tail. I stopped walking. Velvet noticed and looked over. When she saw what was happening, her face went beyond pale straight to blue. Everyone get out of here, she shouted, running to get to the door. Third-person POV, all the people in the guild stopped moving around after someone yelled telling them to escape. They were all confused until they all felt it. Killing intent was starting to flood out from close to the door. Along with that, the temperature was dropping rapidly, and a light mist was starting to spread. The more experienced adventurers began to move first, snapping the less experienced adventurers and guild staff out of their confusion. They ushered the people away from the commotion before it got even worse. All of this happened without the cause of this incident knowing. The perpetrator was a short, fat wolf beastman who looked more like a blobfish than a wolf. You should know better than to ignore a noble. You dumb fox. I'm the younger brother of Baron Doofus, Jared Doofus. You are quite the beautiful woman. I wouldn't mind making you a concubine of mine, so come and follow me, said the pig noble. Sir Jared, I think you should let go of her or you will lose your hand. A knight came up and said, what are you talking about? My hand is fine. The being lower than a mongrel started to say when he felt something off. He looked at his hand to find a lump of ice that was slowly spreading up his arm. The farther the ice went, the less feeling he felt. Jaya-Oia, stop, what are you doing to me? The knights were also being affected by the dropping temperature, the closest of the two already starting to get frostbite. It was then that a voice rang out from the stairs. What in the name of the spirits is going on here? Yelled the guild master, followed closely by another wolf beast man who was also trying to learn of the situation. When he looked over the room at the only two who were in there, he started to yell angrily. You idiot of a younger brother, what did you do this time? He ran over and pushed the poor excuse of a person out of the way, the shock shattering his frozen arm into diamond dust. The guildmaster also came over and noticed who the other person was. Lady Luna, what is going on? He asked but never received an answer. He walked around to get a look at her face only to find it with an expression of such fury. It could kill a true dragon. The most terrifying thing though, was her eyes. Their normal calm shine was gone, replaced by a furious silver glow. It was then that she turned around and slowly walked toward the sniveling piece of trash. No one is allowed to touch me. Not you. Not her. No one, Luna said, her voice colder than the room. She was about to crush the garbage that even roaches would avoid when someone ran through the door of the guild. I'm sorry about this, Luna, but you need to calm down. The new arrival, Velvet, said as she slammed her scabbard against Luna's head, knocking her out. She caught Luna before she fell to the floor. At the same time, the temperature started to slowly return to normal. The guild master spoke up. Will you please bring Lady Luna up to my office? Baron Doofus, please come as well. It seems we are going to postpone our discussions for the time being. I agree, but can you tell me who this is? She is a new adventurer as well as the daughter of Marquis Deacon Reed. Upon hearing this, Baron Doofus paled. He looked at the thing that he was unfortunate enough to be related to and said, You really screwed up this time, you idiot. Be prepared to face serious consequences for this. You too, bring him to the infirmary here, get his arm some first aid, and drag him up to the guildmaster's office. It will be done, my lord, said the knights in unison. They picked up the barley sentient dung heap by the arms and dragged him onto the guild's infirmary. When that was done, Velvet, the guild master, and the baron all went upstairs while the unconscious Luna was being carried in a princess carry. Unbeknownst to all of them, in the divine domain, Atmos, the goddess of fate, was laughing. You go, Luna, I'm so happy you are going to be my sister-in-law. Everything you do is so entertaining. Will you calm down, Atmos? You're being annoying, Tamamo said. I can't help it. That was hilarious. Did you see the look on his face? It was priceless. While I wholeheartedly agree, it still doesn't warrant being so loud. Oh, you, and your sensitive ears. You should have seen the look on your face as well. I could practically see the hearts in your eyes. Tamamo blushed a bright red. I can't help it. Luna looked so cool just then, especially her eyes. The way they shone silver was mesmerizing. I can't disagree. Author's note, it felt good writing this chapter. That's all I got to say. Thanks for reading. As I was carrying Luna to the guildmaster's room, I thought back on what just happened. I know Luna hates other people touching her tail, but what happened earlier wasn't like her at all. From the brief glimpse I got of her face, it seemed like she lost complete control of her emotions. When we arrived on the 4th floor, the guildmaster spoke to me. I assume you are a member of Miss Luna's party. I am. My name is Velvet. I sincerely apologize for what just happened. While I won't say it's okay, there seems to be more to what happened than I originally thought. For now, our only option is to wait for Miss Luna to wake up and hear the details of what happened from her side. Is that all right with you, Baron Doofus? The guildmaster asked, turning to the Baron beside him. It's fine. I might have a rough idea of what happened, but it's best to hear it straight from the source. After the Baron said this, we entered the guildmaster's office. I laid Luna down on one of the couches and sat next to her. The guildmaster and Baron sat across from me. It was then that the goddess spoke to me. While I'll forgive you for knocking Luna out, will you tell me the reason for stopping her? Goddess, with all due respect, if Luna went any farther, it would cause major problems for her. You might not understand this being a goddess and all, but in the mortal world, decent people can't just go around killing others for slights like this. I can completely understand the urge to do what Luna was about to, but if she followed through with it, it would have ruined her reputation and could possibly have even worse repercussions. I said, I see. While I personally think it would have been fine, if it would cause Luna any trouble in the future, I'm thankful for you stopping her. By the way, goddess, do you know why Luna started acting like that? I understand the whole getting angry for someone touching her tail, but that wasn't simple anger. It was like her emotions went out of control. I asked, my worry evident. I do know what happened, but I'll let Luna explain. She is about to wake up, and before you ask, yes, she has calmed down completely. Now, I have to go. The goddess of fate is visiting, and I have to keep her entertained. After the goddess stopped talking to me, I heard Luna start to wake up. Luna POV, I feel a dull pain on the back of my head. I can tell I'm laying down, but I don't know what happened. The last thing I remember was someone pulling on my tail and my vision going red. I opened my eyes to an unfamiliar ceiling. Ugh, what happened? I said. I looked to see where I was and noticed Velvet, Vince the guildmaster, and an unknown wolf beastman staring at me. It seems you have woken up, Miss Luna. While you might still be a bit dazed, I need to know what happened and why you caused such a ruckus downstairs, the guildmaster said, a strained look on his face. I sincerely apologize. I'm not entirely sure myself. I remember someone coming up and grabbing my tail, something in my status changing, and my vision going red. After that, nothing until I woke up here, I said as I put my hand on the back of my head and feeling a large whelp. I started casting healing magic on it when Velvet started to explain what happened. After that person grabbed your tail, you started to unleash a large amount of killing intent and your mist started to come out. I yelled for everyone to get to safety and ran out of the door. I came back in when I felt the cold lessen a bit. You were about to kill the person who touched you, so I ran up and knocked you out, she said. As for the person who grabbed you, you froze most of his arm and it was shattered. After hearing that, I didn't know what to think or what I should do. Do I leave that person alone for daring to touch me, or do I heal them as recompense for my overreaction? As I was stuck thinking over this dilemma, the unknown wolf beastman spoke while bowing his head. Before we continue with this conversation, I should introduce myself. I am Baron Stephen Doofus. I apologize on the name of the Doofus family about my stupid younger brother's actions. Lady Luna Reed, please raise your head. Baron Doofus, I should also apologize for going overboard with my actions, I said, bowing my head in return. Think nothing of it. That idiot brother of mine has had it coming for some time. He always acts out like that, and I could do nothing about it. Losing an arm should serve as a reminder to him that he can't just do what he wants, he said. Miss Luna, you said earlier that something changed in your status. Could you tell us what it was? The guildmaster asked. Let me check. I opened my status to see several messages. Charm skill has reached level 10, conditions met, replacing charm skill with curse, reverse charm notice, due to intervention of unique skill, status effect immunity. Curse, reverse charm will be nullified due to nullification of curse, reverse charm. Individual, Luna will suffer unstable heightened emotions for a short time while curse is removed. Skill, intimidation LV. One obtained. It seems that one of my skills reached level 10 and became a curse, but due to a unique skill the curse was nullified. As an after effect of the curse nullification, my emotions were heightened and became unstable. I explained. It seems your brother just so happened to do something that caused me to get angry at the wrong time. Baron Doofus, what was the skill that turned into a curse? If there was a skill like that, then the guild needs to be informed of it so that we can find others with it and stop them from using it, said the guild master. It was the charm skill, but I don't think we need to worry about anyone else having it, I said, trying to placate the guildmaster. And why is that? He asked. I can't say, I replied. The guildmaster looked into my eyes before backing down, his face still showing a bit of worry. Just as he was about to say something, a knock sounded at the door. Lord Doofus, Guildmaster Vince, we have brought the last concerned party as requested, said a voice from behind the door. Come in, replied the guildmaster. When the door opened, 2 knights stepped in carrying a fat wolf beastman by the arms, or at least they were trying to, since one of them was missing from just above the elbow. When I saw the fat wolf, I started to get angry again, but calmed myself down before I went out of control again. When the fat wolf saw me, his face grew red with anger, and he started yelling. You damn fox, look what you did to this great me. You better be prepared to face the wrath of the Doofus family. I'll make sure you and everyone important to you suffer for this. Before he could continue his tirade, the Baron stood up and slapped the fat wolf across the face. Shut up, you idiot. Don't you realize that you are the one in the wrong this time? How many times have I told you to stop walking up to people and harassing them? Do you have any idea how much shame you bring to our family name? This time you have suffered the consequences of your actions, and this is how you respond. Brother, what are you talking about? We are nobles, we should be free to do what we want. Commoners like that damn fox over there should be grateful that we deign to even speak to them. I said shut up, idiot. I don't know how you got the idea that nobles are supposed to act like that, but you are wrong. Also, for your information, that person is the daughter of a Marquis, and she had every right to do what she did. After hearing that, the fat wolf's face paled as he looked over to me. When he looked into my eyes, he started to tremble. It was then that Baron Doofus asked me, Lady Reed, is there anything more you would like to do or anything to say? No, I think the loss of his arm is sufficient. It should serve as a reminder of his blunder. I thank you for your consideration. You too, take my brother to our lodgings while we finish our discussions here. Yes, my lord, the both of them said. As the 2 knights walked over to get the fat wolf, I noticed that one of them could barely use his left hand. I remembered what Velvet said earlier about how I was using my mist to bring the temperature down in the guild and thought that this knight might have suffered from my rampage as well. Sir Knight, before you go, may I take a look at your left hand? I asked. The knight looked over to the Baron and he nodded his head. The knight removed his gauntlet and I saw he was suffering from severe frostbite. A feeling of guilt welled up in my chest. I couldn't care less about the fat wolf, but I felt bad about dragging others into my outburst. It seems that I have caused trouble for you, Sir Knight. As an apology, I will heal you, I said as I touched the knight's hand and used my healing magic. Thank you, Lady Reed, said the Baron. It was nothing, Lord Doofus. If anything, this was the least I could do for dragging unrelated people into a mess that I was involved in. After the knights left with the fat wolf, we continued our discussion on how to handle the aftermath of the situation. Though the problem with the Baron was settled as his brothers screw up, I still needed to face repercussions for disrupting the guild's business. Since this is mostly due to several factors involving his skill, the guild can't give heavy punishment, but something still needs to be done. I hope you understand this, Miss Luna, said the guild master. I do understand, guild master. What did you have in mind? I can either have you not accept quests for 2 weeks or allow you to do quests but have the guild keep the rewards you would have earned. What do you think, Velvet? I'd choose the first option. You don't earn rewards in either choice, but I want to keep an eye on you in case that after effect is still affecting you, she said. Then there is your answer, guild master, I said, turning back to face the other person. Then form now until 2 weeks have passed. You are not allowed to take quests from the guild. If this is all, I suggest you head to your lodgings and wait for the time to pass. I'll do just that. Velvet, before you leave, will you report what we encountered this afternoon since you have this chance? I asked as I stood up to leave. Sure. After hearing her reply, I left the room and headed to the Fox's Mirror. Author's note, I have returned. I apologize for taking so long to get this chapter out. I was in the middle of writing it when I lost power due to a storm. I hope you all enjoy the chapter. Thanks for reading. When I made it back to my room in the inn, I jumped onto the bed and buried my face in the pillow. Ugh, I messed up big today, I complained to myself. While the thing at the guild was one thing, I almost snapped at Velvet too. While I was looking back on my actions during the day, a wave of drowsiness hit me. What's going on here? I started to say as I lost consciousness. When I woke up, I was in Tamamo's home. What's going on? It's not even the full moon tonight, I said confused. That would be my doing. I really wanted to meet you in person, said a voice from behind me. I turned to look at who spoke to see a slender woman with heterochromatic eyes of amethyst and emerald. She had long hair that reached past her knees and was a deep blue bordering on purple. It's nice to meet you, Luna. I am the goddess of fate, Atmos. It is good to meet you as well, I replied stiffly. Atmos, can you stop releasing your aura? You're putting Luna in a tough spot, Tamamo said, scolding the goddess of fate. Fine, I get it. Don't look at me like that. she said, rolling her eyes before turning back to look at me. Again, it's good to finally meet you in person, future sister-in-law. I know you must be confused about why I called you here, but I just really wanted to meet you in person. Every time I try to, Tamamo stops me, but this time I managed to distract her long enough. I looked over to Tamamo to see if what she said was true, but she refused to meet my gaze. I turned back to face her and said, "Please take care of me in the future." Then, she smiled brightly when I said this. Before we continued talking, we went over to some seats that weren't there before and sat down. I have been watching you for a while, Luna, and I must say, you are quite entertaining. Especially the times you hug your tail and talk to it like you were talking to Tamamo, she said. I covered my face with my hands to try and hide my embarrassment. When do you do that? Tamamo asked, surprised. Oh please, don't act so surprised. Tamamo, you do the same thing. Not to mention that every full moon after she leaves you complain to yourself that your tails don't compare to the fluffiness of hers, she said, her teasing smile growing wider while Tamamo blushed a bright red as well. This is why I always try to stop you from meeting Luna. All you ever do is tease and embarrass me, Tamamo complained with a pout, her face still red. I couldn't get a word in through my embarrassment as well as the revelation Atmos gave me. I started to peek at Tamamo through my fingers, which Atmos caught on to. Oh, what is this? Did you not know about that, Luna? I didn't, I answered. I took my face out of my hands and looked directly at Tamamo this time. This caused her blush to deepen and made me smile. I guess that means I have to start brushing and tending to Tamamo's tails more so that she can at least endure me not being here longer, I said, a teasing smile spreading across my face to match my future sister-in-law's. Don't worry, I have a brushing skill that's almost at max level. I don't know what will happen when it maxes out, but I guarantee that you will get the brushing of your life. I like the way you think, Luna. I give you permission to trap Tamamo in the abyss of fluff with the only way out being her gaining a similar level of fluff, Atmos said, giving me a thumbs up. Will the both of you stop? Tamamo shouted. But it's so much fun teasing you, Tamamo, Atmos said. She's right. Plus it's nice to be on the teasing side of things for once, I said, agreeing. The both of you better be prepared for the consequences of this. Especially you, Atmos, Tamamo said, glaring at the both of us. What are you gonna do, Tamamo? Atmos asked. I'll stop giving you my practice cooking. Atmos froze upon hearing Tamamo's words. Please reconsider. Ever since I tried your cooking, I can't stop eating it. You're on par with the god of culinary arts, and you know she hasn't talked to me since I pulled that prank on her. If you stop giving me food, I don't know what'll happen. The panic in Atmos's voice increasing after every word. As for you, Luna, I might not call you here on the next full moon, Tamamo said, ignoring Atmos's pleading. I was shocked upon hearing her words. There wasn't a single full moon that I didn't spend time with Tamamo since I was 5. I started to tear up. That's not cool, Tamamo. It may have calmed down for the most part, but her emotions are still a bit unstable. Just look at her, Atmos said, turning serious. Tamamo looked over at me and saw the tears falling from my eyes. She got up and came over and hugged me. Sorry, Luna, I didn't mean it. Please calm down, Tamamo said in a gentle voice. Are you still mad? I'm sorry, was all I could say. I'm not mad anymore, so please stop crying. I'll leave the two of you alone for now. It was good to meet you, Luna. Please be careful in the next few months, Atmos said before covering herself in a shining light and disappearing. I'm sorry for being such a mess today, Tamamo. First it was that thing with Velvet this afternoon, then that thing at the guild, and now this. It's fine. While I can't do anything about the first two things, I can at least apologize for going too far this time. I'm sorry. She hugged me tighter while saying this. I think I feel better now. Thank you, I said as I hugged Tamamo back. Author's note, I really hate April Fool's Day. So here, a normal chapter for anyone like-minded. Beware the next chapter might give an overdose of fluff. Thanks for reading. Me and Tamamo sat there hugging each other for what felt like hours. I didn't want to leave her embrace. It was so comfortable. She even wrapped me in some of her tails. Their softness was only rivaled by mine. I freed my arms and pulled out a brush. I started brushing one of her free tails, making sure to focus on any spot that was tangled. While doing this, I felt a sensation on my own tail. It seems that Tamamo had the same idea that I did. As much as I am annoyed at Atmos telling you about how I feel about my tails when you leave, it's true. I wish I could get my tails to be as fluffy and soft as yours. You don't have to worry about that, Tamamo. It's my job to make sure your fluff is up to standard. I wasn't lying earlier when I talked about that skill. It'll probably max itself out by the end of our time together tonight. Brushing technique has reached max level conditions. Acquired unique skill. Divine brushing technique. Speak of the devil. Did it level up already? Yep, it even gave me a unique skill. What does the unique skill do? I appraised the new unique skill and was surprised. Divine brushing technique, unique skill given to one who has achieved mastery in the art of brushing. Anyone who is brushed by the holder of this unique skill will have nearly unparalleled levels of softness and fluffiness. This unique skill can only be gained by someone who has reached the maximum level of the brushing technique skill and has come into contact with a god or goddess that has allowed the holder to brush them. How interesting. I guess I really am going to be pulled into the abyss of fluff. Ha! Of course, I'll make sure that we will stand atop the world of fluff as its supreme overlords, I said with a strange sense of pride. Don't tempt people like that, Luna. You have to remember you are the abyss of fluff. You're already at the top. Or bottom. What do you classify the abyss as? Is it the summit or something that someone falls into? I'm not really sure myself. I tried thinking about that a long time ago but gave up. Anyway, since you are the pinnacle, I need to catch up. Foo. That's the whole point of this unique skill, Tamamo. With it I choose who can stand beside me at the pinnacle of fluff. As we conversed about this and that, I continued to brush Tamamo's tails. We continued on for hours when Tamamo said, "Now that I think about it, you're going to get more tails in the future. I wonder what it would feel like to be wrapped up in multiple tails of abyss fluff. I think even I would go crazy. Then you'll understand how nice it feels when you do it to me. When you wrap me in your tails. It feels like being wrapped in the most comfortable bed and blanket that you never want to leave. I probably wouldn't if there wasn't a time limit of me being here," I said as I moved on to the last of her tails. "A tail bed and blanket sounds really nice. You'll have to let me try that when you get more." "Of course, I will, as long as you return the favor. It's only natural. I'll have to pamper you as much as you pamper me." We started to stare into each other's eyes and inched our faces closer to each other when a light started to shine. "Sorry for interrupting the two of you at a tender moment, but if I don't send Luna back right now, her little friend would start to worry." Atmos's voice echoed through the entire space. "Damn it, Atmos, did you really have to wait for this moment in particular? Seriously, I'll get you for this next time as well. I'll give you a feel of fluff then have Tamamo permanently take away your sense of touch." "Oh, how scary. I really wish I could let you two flirt longer, but since I'm the one who brought you here, I have to send you back and you've already been here a week." "Wait, what? A week?" "Yep, a week. Your friend is watching over your body right now, but she is getting worried." "Fine, send me back, but remember, don't interrupt next time or I'll carry through with my threat." Yes. Till next time, Luna. I'll talk to you later, Tamamo. Next full moon we can continue. Yes, I'll talk to you again soon, Luna. Now go and calm down, Velvet." The light grew brighter and brighter until it felt like I was going blind. When it died down, I found myself laying in my bed at the inn. I looked around and saw Velvet with terror in her eyes. She jumped up from where she was sitting, grabbed me by the shoulders and started shaking me. "Luna, are you alright? Why did you fall asleep for a whole week? Was this also a part of the backlash from the curse nullification?" She kept bombarding me with questions and shaking me back and forth. "Velvet, calm down. I can't explain anything if you keep shaking me like this." "Right, sorry," she said as she realized what she was doing. "Sorry, please explain what is going on. Why were you asleep for a whole week?" "The goddess of fate called me up into the divine domain to meet me, and after a while it turned into me and Tamamo spending some time together. It honestly felt like only a night passed up there. I didn't know how long I was asleep until the goddess of fate said something." "I see. If it was the goddess of fate then it's fine. Has anything happened while I was out?" "Not much. There have been more reports of undead popping up in the other forests besides the one with orcs." "That doesn't sound good." "It probably isn't. My mother is even having her subordinates look into things, but they haven't got any news yet." "Then all we can do is wait. By the way, sorry about everything I did last week." "It's okay. Anyway, what are you going to do for this week since you still can't take any quests from the guild?" "I'm not sure. I don't want to just laze around, but I don't know what to do. I'm not really good at sitting still and doing nothing. Here's an idea for tomorrow at least. Why don't I show you around the capital some? You've only been here for a short time, and I don't think you've explored much, right? Now that I think about it." "You're right. Let's do that tomorrow then. As for the rest of the week, we can leave that to future us." Author's note, the title says it all. Thanks for reading.